So in this video we're going to talk about data types in Python. So Python has so many different data types, so let's just talk about each and every one of them. So first of all, let's just talk about numeric data types. So there are several numeric data types. First of all, we're going to talk about the integer. So integer, or we can call this int. So int represents a whole number without any decimal points. And here the integer values can be either positive or this can be negative, and also this can be 0. Like an example, we can create one variable and we can assign one integer value like 10, or we can create another variable and we can assign like negative 10, because integer values can be either negative, positive, or even they can be 0. So let's now talk about the float numbers. So these are the number with decimal points. Like an example, we can create variable pi, and here we can assign one floating point value like 3.14. So because here we have decimal point, that's why this is a floating point number. And also in Python we have another numeric type which is called complex type. So we call it complex. So here we can represent numbers with real and imaginary part. Like an example, we can create x and we can assign one complex number like 2 plus 3j. So here 2 is the real part and 3j is the imaginary part. So these complex numbers are useful in case of engineering and scientific computing. So let's now talk about sequence types in Python. So in the sequence type, first of all, let's just talk about the string data type. The string data type is a sequence of character enclosed in either single quote or we can use double quotation also. So we have to remember that the strings are immutable. That means we cannot modify them after their creation. But the strings support like slicing, indexing to access the values at a particular index, and also we can apply various other methods. Like an example, we can create one variable x and we can assign one string value like hello world. Now either we can use single quote or we can use double quote to create the string. So in string, all of these characters have some index values. Like an example, the first character has the index 0, second character index 1, and so on. And we can use the indexing to select any particular character. Like first character, we can select that using square bracket, and inside that we can pass the index 0. So this will select the first character, and we can pass index 1 to select the second character. And also we can select one particular substring. So in that case, in the square bracket, we can select the starting index and the ending index. It will start from the first character and it will end before the fifth character. That means it will return the substring hello. And also in a sequence type we have the list. So list is similar to array in other programming languages. So in Python, list data types are ordered, they are mutable, and in the list we can store multiple data types. And in a list we can also add, we can remove, and also we can modify. And here also it supports indexing, and also we can use the slicing. Like an example, we can create one list. So we have to use the square bracket, and inside that we can have multiple elements. So because it supports multiple data types, so we can store multiple data types in a list. So we can use indexing to select any value, like we can use number and we pass 0. So this will return the first element of the list. So this will return the number 1. Because this is mutable, so we can modify the elements of the list. So we can select the second element and we can assign one new value. So the second element of the list will be modified with the new value. And also we can add new values to this list, number.append, and we can append one new value. So the 6 will be added to our list. So let's now talk about tuple. So tuple is ordered, immutable collection of elements. That means the elements in a tuple will not be modified. But here it supports the same indexing, and also we can use the slicing also. Like an example, we can create one tuple, and here inside the parentheses we can add multiple elements to the tuple. And the tuple can have multiple data types, like we can store one string also. And we can use indexing to access any particular value from the tuple. So we can select the first value. So we have to use the square bracket, and here inside we can pass the index. So the index 0 will select the first element from that tuple. And unlike the list, because the tuple is immutable, so here we cannot modify the elements that are in the tuple. And next we have the mapping data type. So the mapping is like a collection of key value pair. So in a map data type, the keys are unique and immutable, but the values can be of any data type and they are mutable. So this data type is just like object. So here we can create one student variable, and here we can assign one map. So we have to use the curly braces, and inside that we can use the key value pairs. Like we can have the name of John, and after the comma we can have other properties like age 25. So because the keys of the map are unique, so we can use them to access the values. We can get the name from the map, so we have to use student, and inside the square brackets we can pass the name, and this will return the name of the student. Similarly also we can get the age of a student. So inside the square bracket we have to pass the age key, and this will return the age from the map. So because the values are mutable, so we can modify that also. So we can select the student's age, and we can assign one new age like 30. So the age of the student will be modified. And next we have the set data type. So the set data type contains unordered collection of unique elements. So the set contains mutable values. That means we can modify the values. So we can create one set, and inside the set we can have multiple values like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Now because the set is mutable, so we can modify the values. Now we can add new elements to the set dot add method, and we can add new value to the set. And here it supports the mathematical set operations like union, intersection, the difference. So we can apply all of these set operations. And also we have the frozenset. So the frozenset is just like the set, but here this is immutable. So this is immutable version of the set. That means here we can create one set. So we can use the frozenset, and here inside we can pass, and once we create the frozenset we cannot modify those values. We cannot even add new values to the set. And next we have the very important Boolean data type. So the Boolean data type represents two values, either this can be true or false, and this is often used in conditional expressions to compare two values. Like in example, he is running. So we can make this true or false, or we can use is active, and we can assign one Boolean value. And lastly we have the none data type. So this data type represents the absence of any value. So this is often used as a placeholder for variable or return type when the function don't have anything to return. Like an example, we can assign one variable x with the value none. That means the variable has no value. And also in case of on function, when the function has nothing to return, in that case we can return none. That means this function will return no value. So these are all the data types in Python. So hope you understand the concept. See you in the next one. Take care.